Hey folks, here at the Upstate Music Channel podcast, here with Joe from Widow Lake and L Train, and been around the upstate music scene for how long? Since
about 30 years.
Wow, so that would be in the 90s?
90s, after I got out of service, yeah.
Good. Now, tell us about L Train and Widow Lake. Let's start with L Train. What kind of music do you guys play?
L Train is a female-fronted band. We're a variety band. We're more into the dance, the hip-hop stuff. We do a little bit of the rock and roll. We try to stay away from the heavy stuff. And we do a couple country songs. You know, as everyone knows, country is not my favorite. But, it's not about me when we're on stage. It's about pleasing the crowd and playing what they want to hear. So we'll do some country. We'll do a few hip-hops, and we'll do some classic rock. We don't get into the 90s that much, but we do a couple of 80s songs, but mostly classic rock.
Okay.
And now Widow Lake, on the other hand, we are also a female-fronted band. I've been with Widow Lake going on 10 years. And Widow Lake is we all, except for Eric, are metalheads. Angela, Hack, and myself.
Wait a minute, Eric's not a rock.
No.
Whoa, I've talked to him for years.
No, he is not. And when he joined Widow Lake, it was funny because Eric and I have history together from Barbed Wire, my band Barbed Wire. And Eric is his hero is Eric Clapton. So he loves Eric Clapton, and he would be happy to be an Eric Clapton tribute band.
Okay.
And but he started investing money in guitars and all the right equipment for what we were doing, because we were doing a lot of the heavier stuff, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, Guns N' Roses. I said Guns N' Roses, but the heavier stuff, Ozzy, yeah. Black Sabbath,
the 80s hair band.
Yeah. And so he went out and bought a different guitar, and he bought some pedals, and I'm like, he was taking it very serious. And then, of course, Hack, Angela, and I, it's nothing for us to want to play Tool, Pantera, or stuff like that.
Okay.
And we finally decided that we were playing the heavier stuff, Rob Zombie and that stuff, and you just can't play it out. Got Rocks is gone. You have Ground Zero is about the only.
That's Ground Zero and Tribbles. If you're
Tribbles.
In that edge of rock music,
right?
And I'm not a fan, but I can listen to it if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like the 80s rock, country, classic country. And to be honest with you, the 80s on 8 on Sirius, the 80s station, just straight 80s. I love 80s, just general music.
Yeah.
That's what I grew up on. But yeah, Tribbles and Ground Zero is the only places around that I know of, and I can't think of another one that would do like a grunge rock, like a Pantera band or something. Even like if you did Ozzy tribute would probably go over everywhere. He's kind of mainstream.
Yeah. They just did that big Ozzy fest out at Tribbles, and I watched the video. I couldn't, and I mean, just about every band, I knew them. And I'm like, come on, I'll help load equipment. I want to go. And there's no tickets to be had. I don't care. Yeah. I'll load equipment. I'll bring it in. I'll take it out. I just want to go, and I want to see this. But I watched it. Skip Strong had some video of it. And Peter Moore had some video.
He played with
he played with everybody.
I have not shook his hand and met him yet. I know him by kind of I guess reputation on Facebook or whatever. I've seen him around a couple times, but that was the first time I ever heard him play. Was it was Taylor Fest?
Taylor Fest this year, yeah.
It's usually called Rossi Fest, but he was playing with Haphazard. Well,
yes. They opened up. We changed it to Taylor Fest this year in honor of Taylor Graham, and he played with Haphazard because I wanted to dedicate the whole day to Taylor. Angie was here. She got the scholarship fund started, so I want to push that. And I made a promise to Taylor that he would never be forgotten, and he won't be. As long as I'm alive, he won't be forgotten.
The outro to this podcast, at the very end of it, my little. I got Streeting September, their song Crazy Feet, and I use that, and I put. Like I think I got a picture, like a video of you, and there's just different people I've interviewed. And when I started doing the little kind of, when you were holding the mic thing, there's little 2-minute interviews I was doing at Wild Country. I had a lot of, but anyway, at the end of it, I did it's kind of the same thing, but it was at House Divided with Taylor for the toy drive that they do every year,
Right, in
like a
Christmas,
little
yeah.
promo. And there's a little section in it when he's like talking about Greenville and all the musicians in it, and I got it there at the very very end, and he like does a keep on, and he points at the camera. I'm like, man, every time I can't watch my own outro. I'm kind of welling up right now, and
Right.
this podcast, we're all over the place, and we're going to start right here with this. Let's talk about Taylor. How much do you know about firefighters and cancer?
I don't.
Look this up, and I want everybody to look this up. Firefighters, I did, because I was just curious. Like, because when he said he's got cancer, and I'm like, what kind? He said, I remember him saying lung cancer, and I'm sitting there, I was smoking a cigar around him. I'm like, he's like, no. And you don't smoke, dude. Like, I've never known. Okay, you're a firefighter. Oh, yeah, you're breathing in. I'm like, there's got to be more to it than that. And I looked it up. The first thing you do, firefighters are 66% chance more likely to, I don't know how you say it, contract or catch or however you want to, but to come down with some type of cancer. And it's from the chemicals they're exposed to, the turnout gear, the breathing. If your house catches, God forbid, knock on wood, whatever, you have a fire, they come over here. There's all sorts of chemicals in the wood,
Oh, yeah.
plastic, everything. And I've been deployed 3 times. I'm not sitting a tent on a computer deployments. I lived on Humvees and MRAPs, and I ain't got the cojones or stones to be a fireman. Because I
Right.
thought about it when I went to law enforcement, and he was a good drummer. I mean, he was a great drummer. I mean, but he loved music, and just I loved the dude. Every time I got a chance here's a few seconds. Tell everybody what you think about him. I mean,
Well,
sounded bad for a
well,
second.
no, it didn't.
Taylor would have laughed. So
I got here. I met Taylor at Harley Bike Night, and I met Taylor 31 years ago. Taylor and I have been friends for quite a long time, and I considered him one of my very best friends. And he was this larger than life guy, and we immediately clicked. We started talking about drums, and it was all over from there. And then, he told me he was a fireman. I said, well, that's a pretty cool profession. I said, really, really dangerous, but, pretty cool that you were willing to risk your life to save someone else. He said, well, you just told me you were in the military. I said, yeah. He said, well, didn't you do the same thing?
it ain't that.
No. No.
And it's like with me with PTSD, and I tell a lot of people, they're like, it's nothing like you went through. I'm like, yeah, I got to fight back.
Right.
I had tools I got to fight. If you're a victim of whatever and it causes trauma, you didn't probably get to fight back. And
Right.
if you did, it was nowhere near. I got to get on the radio and all sorts of cool things come over and make you go away.
Yeah.
I got that. That's the difference is, and when we come home, you're not really trained for it. I'm not saying boot camp is that stressful or anything, because it really ain't.
No.
I mean, it is, but it ain't. But they and like I said, firefighters, they're like, hey, the place is on fire.
They run into a building on fire.
For possibly your kid, 3-year-old crying on the
Right.
sidewalk for their goldfish.
Right.
And they would run in there to. They might not do that. They might go to Walmart and here's a quarter, But and I've hung around a lot of firefighters, and I love talking to them. But Taylor was a great dude.
You'd be surprised how many upstate musicians are firefighters.
Oh, there's a few, and
You got Ryan Goodson.
Yeah, I forgot about him. He's a drummer too.
Yep. And Harold
Page.
Fulbright. He's the drummer.
Wayne Page is a drummer.
Yep.
That's 3 with
4.
Taylor. Who else?
Uh,
That's odd. And
It
it's
is.
odd that they're drummers.
Yeah.
That's really
I know Todd King's daughter worked on the EMS in the ambulance.
that's kind of this. It ain't the
Yeah.
same thing, but it's a similar. They'll accompany. Well, the firefighters though. They go into a burning building.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I get it. And if I had to, and somebody's in there, I'm just going to have to face whatever and go do it.
Right.
I get that part. If you've been in the military, if you've been in combat, if you've been in anything, you know that you're just going to have to put one foot in front of the other and go.
And go.
But that's one of those where your whole, like running in a gunfire, you know, you might hear things going by. There's a fire. You know,
Right.
It's on fire.
That's out of control.
Yeah. And what is it? You know, they talk about, you know, like boot camp or whatever. It's a merry-go-round, but the merry-go-round, and they always have, it's on fire. They always have that, and it's on fire to add that. And these guys are running into it. And just, Taylor, if you're listening somehow, thank you still for you.
Absolutely.
And this comes from you, and here we go into this. You served in the Army, right?
Yes.
What'd you do in the Army?
I was a sniper.
Okay.
Started out as 11 Bravo. When I shot 40 out of 40 in basic training, they made me do it again because they thought I cheated. I had to do it 5 times, and I shot 5 times 40 out of 40. And so that wrote my fate right then. I was lucky.
Well, maybe. With
Yeah.
snipers, it's amazing. Oh, he can shoot. Cool.
Yeah.
But now here comes the rest of it.
That's right. Yeah.
Can you make your own ghillie suit? Oh, we're going to have to find you. The guys that do that, and I hear about the training, and I'm like, and I seen some of it at Camp Pendleton when I was stationed out there. I'm like, no, no. And there was a guy, me and my buddy that was my roommate. We went out anyway. His apartment, the pool. Yeah, pool complexes have the pool, or apartment complexes have the pool with the bushes around it. This guy's name was Moses, and he had went into intelligence or something. Anyway, he lived in that apartment complex. He was stay with the Marine Corps back then. I think it was called Stay Platoon, which was just had this special weapons type stuff. And this guy's a sniper, and I met him through my buddy. And he was talking to us, like us doing this, but he was walk around the bushes in the pool and like find me. And we were playing adult hide and go, a lot of alcohol involved, and we could not find him. And he was telling us, and we were trying to find him, and he'd moved by the time we got to him. I'm like, how do you do that? And they send you to school for that.
Yeah.
And it's the Army has a school, and the Marine Corps has a school, and it used to be just one. But I know the Marine Corps school is a little bit different, and the Army school was meant to. Was that a straight pipeline in the SF, or was it? But you were in the 80s, though, right? 70s or 80s.
90s.
Okay. Was that like a straight pipeline in the SF, or was that not straight? I know you had to go through all the stuff.
Right.
But did you work in through that, or was that snipers that were like scattered out throughout the Army?
There were some scattered out throughout the Army.
Because there was a guy who used to work at the Spartanburg County Jail. It was an Army sniper, and that guy was. We went to the range one day, and that was the first time I ever had the experience of keep your mouth shut about the Marine Corps marksmanship and how good we are.
Why?
Well, I mean, I know we're good, but don't run your mouth too much around Army guys, because that guy could outshoot anybody I've ever seen in my life.
You know, it's kind of funny because Barry with L Train, the guitar player,
Yeah.
he's a Marine. He was in during Vietnam, and I give him a load of crap, and he gives me a load of crap. And everybody says, well, you know, aren't you guys on the same side? I said, let me explain this to you. I can talk crap about him, and he can talk crap about me. But if you come in and talk crap about either one of us, now you're facing both of us.
Oh, yeah. And that's like, what was it? The Air Force joke. It's like, we all make fun of the Air Force, but you can't.
No, you better not. Right.
And there's a scene in a movie, and we'll actually get back to music here in a minute. There's a scene in I can't remember. It's got Steven Seagal and Kurt Russell in it, and they take over this plane, and it's like a terrorist attack or something. And this SF guys, and it's like a commercial jet, and these F-14s are coming up behind. It's a '90s movie, and the guy's back there, and he's like Morse code, and he starts hitting the light. He goes back and gets the wiring. Like we've got control of the plane. It had no rate. Typical Hollywood movie, you know. And he's like doing Morse code, and you can hear the Navy like they see it. The Navy pilots see it, And the guy's like, I take back everything I've ever said about the thing. And the first time you ever call in for close air support in a combat zone, you'll never make fun of the Air Force again.
Again, right.
It's like, whoa, that's what you guys do. But back to music, and we can kind of talk. Your guitar player is a Vietnam vet. Now,
Right.
I've talked to him before. I think he said he was 73, 74. Time. Do you know what his MOS was?
Nah, I don't know.
Which in Vietnam, that was an insane war,
Yes.
and there's a lot of music around that. There's a lot around politics with it too,
Yeah.
and a lot of people don't realize everything during between I think it's 67 and 69. That was the oh my God, that was a it's all combat, but that was a meat grinder.
Yeah.
And I come to find out just by talking to people that were GWOT vets like me. When were you there? When were you there? When? 04, 05, and 2010. Everybody unless they were there during that time, they're quiet. And they look at me and I'm like, oh, that's our time for the bats. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's like, oops. Yeah, I picked the perfect timing. But L Train, how did the name L Train come about?
Eric and I started L Train as a way. Angela and Hack wanted a weekend off, well, a month, and Eric and I didn't want that weekend off a month, so we started L Train. And I did a fundraiser out here in the cul-de-sac for Corbin Bryant, the little boy that was eaten in Spartanburg by the pit bulls. And we were supposed to go play a fundraiser for him in Spartanburg, but it was snowing. And I'm not going to mention his name, but I called the guy. I said, hey, look, I said, it's snowing. I said, I'm pretty sure we're not going to be able to make it. I'm pulling a band trailer with all this gear. I said, and he gave me, yeah. So I said, well, I tell you what I'll do. In my cul-de-sac that Sunday, we had a benefit. I had Twisted Trio. I had Gen X. I had Widow Lake. I had 5 bands that when I made one phone call, they all jumped all over it. I called his mom up, Corbin's mom. The whole family come out. I took, well, I don't even have it anymore. I had one of those little ceramic fireplaces with the flue on top. I took that out there. We put that out there so everybody could stay warm. We set up. We had a chili cook-off. I can't remember the number, but we raised a good amount of money for them. And she was very appreciative. And it was yeah, it was good.
No, but how did the name L, where did the L come from?
Well, Elizabeth was playing with a band called Parallel Lines at the time with Tony Pizzino. And I heard this woman. I watched this woman walk up, and I went to her and I said,
crutches.
yeah, I said, can I get you a chair? She goes, would you? I said, absolutely. So I went and got her a chair, and she's on 2 canes, walking canes, could barely walk. The woman sat down, and she opened her mouth, and I'm like, oh my God.
I got the same story. I got almost the same exact story.
And I said, where have you been? And I've known Tony Pizzino a long time. And I said, God, where did you find her? And so she was at Wild Country, and Eric told me, I said, you know Elizabeth? I said, yes. And I can't, for the life of me, I can't remember her last name right now.
Is it Carpenter?
Carpenter, that's it. So I went to Wild Country to talk to her, and I said, would you like to sing in a band with Eric and I? And she goes, absolutely. So we come over here to my house, went in my music room. We started rehearsing. We found another guitar player and a bass player and things. Then it come up for a name. And I said, I think it was actually Eric that said, why not L Train? We named it after Elizabeth. And she's been gone now
couple of years. It's
Yeah,
been a
2 years. I think 2 years and 4 months, and the name will never change.
Yeah,
It will always be L Train.
that's why we talked about Taylor and kind of, and I got to thinking, I was like, I got to ask him because I've never asked y'all that, but it just kind of made sense with her, and
Yeah.
now that she's gone, you know, like I guess people won't get it, but you know, and the first time I ever heard her sing was at Powdersville Pub, and Todd King, and that's the only time I've ever heard Todd King play. Is him and Corey Massey doing an acoustic set. And you know how I used to do it? I'd just go hit record on a phone, just a cell phone near the PA. The audio was crap, and you know I've recorded y'all, I've recorded everybody that come through. I just hit record, and I'd play with the lights. Well, they said we're gonna have somebody come up and sing, and here she comes with her crutches. And I remember trying to get her a mic and everything, you know, trying to get her situated. And I'm like, let me go sit down for a minute. You know, I don't know who this woman is. And I'm not trying to judge her or anything, but, you know, I was not recording, but, you know, just as a courtesy, I'd, you know, hit the cell phone and you guys would have something. And she starts singing, and I think I bumped somebody out of the way to hit record on my phone. Like, what in the world
Yeah, boy.
And she had the mic. It's something about the cable, because she was using, I think it was Todd's mic, and she couldn't get close enough, and she was trying to, and I remember us both trying to get her cord, to give her a little bit more cord so she could, you know, because I was like, what was that? And the only person up until that point, I never heard anybody do anything at that good on vocals was until Rashana Marie. And that girl can sing. And then the only person that can kind of compete with her is, and I heard
Clementine, yeah.
but I heard her at Powdersville Pub when Streeting September was kind of, they were still doing kind of the grungy stuff,
Right.
kind of mostly 90s rock, and she sounded good, but it didn't click and register, you know, this is awesome, until I heard her singing like a broad spectrum of like, whoa, she can project, and she's a great rock vocalist, and Elizabeth was too. And there at the end, there's a couple times I've seen her sing. You kind of tell age was starting to get her a little bit.
Yeah.
She was, I don't know how old she was, but I mean, she's at least over 50, I think. I mean,
Oh yeah, I think she was closer to 60. She wasn't very forthcoming with her age.
Oh yeah, but she come to Wild Country at open mic and something else I remember, and we would get a mic out to her.
Yeah.
Out in the crowd, and she would literally ask me. She goes, "Do you mind getting her food or something from the bar?" I'm like, everybody there. And it's just South and men will do this anyway, but they know her and they know. I don't know what kind of. Never ask her. Never, you know, hey, what's wrong with you or anything like, or in a polite way. But nobody cared. They took care of her.
Yeah.
And that was a cool thing to see, you know. And there's a couple of people that play that sat down sometimes when they played. And hey, Matt, can you get me? No, get up, get you know. Her, no, I go get whatever she. Unless you're playing, then I'll run you, grab you whatever you need. But you know.
It was kind of funny because, you know, some of the places we'd go, and you could look at the crowd and you could tell the people and what they're thinking when they see her. And it was really funny because she would get up to the chair and sit down, and she would open her mouth, and on the third word, all those people that had already judged her in their mind, was sitting there with their mouth opening, reaching for their phone to hit record. And then they come running up to me, said, "Where did you find her?" I said, "A buddy of mine found her, and I just happened to be able to get her in here." So she's fantastic. And the good thing about Elizabeth is you could say, again, I'm a metalhead. You know, that's what I like. And I said, let's do a whole lot of love. And she goes, okay. She would not say no to anything. And it's like, again, everybody knows me and country music, but we still play Angel from Montgomery because that was one of Elizabeth's favorite songs.
Oh, wow.
So we still play that.
And one thing, like at Powdersville Pub, I use phone as a prop here, But most of the time you're looking at a gig and people doing this. And when I'd start hitting lights or somebody hits whatever, and this is what you look for. It goes straight. The phones go straight up. They'll
Straight
go
up,
from here
hit record,
to
yep.
there, and they'll start hitting record. And I love that. That's what, like, I tell you guys, I've been on stage a few times playing harmonica, but running lights and getting the special effects going and watching the crowd reaction to it and seeing, oh wow, and like, man, that's an adrenaline. It's a good adrenaline. It's also what caused me a lot of problems is good stress and bad stress, and that's a good stress thing. It's a good, like, yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's something when you talk diabetes. When you go before you go on stage, I don't care. You've been doing this since the 90s?
Oh no, I've been doing this since here since the 90s, but before I've been doing this since I was 17.
So
I've been
a
doing
couple
this,
of centuries.
Yeah.
But you no matter what you do, no matter how, when I was in the honor guard, 100 funerals, I'm still nervous right before.
Oh yeah.
You get a little,
Yeah.
okay, we got to do this right. Everything's got to be, and with the show, even with everything, even though this is a hobby, it's, and I hate to say it that way, but when I compare it to the honor guard, somebody's final flagfold versus,
Oh yeah.
I made a mistake in the measure of, there's a big difference, but you get nervous. Your stage fright, that's why people take a shot of whiskey, a little herbal something, whatever, to get over that stage fright. What happens is your body does a little adrenaline dump. You got glucose going. It gets a little higher. I've got a monitor, and just me being out at a gig now, that's about 20 to 30 points. It's almost like eating. It's like eating a healthy meal, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Then add on top of that, if you eat a meal, you're actually going to get more. And if you screw up and drink a beer, you're going to get more.
Right.
So when you go out there with type 2 diabetes and you get yourself even just that little shot of whiskey or a couple of beers to get going, your blood sugar's up here. You do that over and over and over again. And if you got a problem like me with the flight or flight switch stuck on, I'm already you're just building, and it just compounds. How do you deal with, I know you do what, food trucks or something, mm-hmm. I think. So what's your cooking experience? I know you cook for, I've heard tales. They're all good. But you're like a chef, or I don't know if you have any training, or we've never had that.
I do. I was a chef at Smithfield Country Club.
Okay. We've talked about food before, and you've said stuff that made me think you've got some type of training, and you have some of the nutritional classes and stuff like that. It probably helped you or did that come from diabetes?
Well, it came from diabetes, the interest in nutritional information. I lost half of my right foot, and I was told I was never going to play drums again. And I just kind of looked at him and I smiled. I said, "Yeah, watch." You're not. When I'm dead, I'll stop playing drums.
Were you SF? Were you SF?
Yes.
Don't ever tell those guys you can't do. Never ever. Marines, Rangers, Special Forces, and anybody that has the airborne, those crazy people, and engineers. Never. So you can't do that. Hey, yeah, well.
Yeah. Well, it's like my doctor. I told him I wanted to jump out of an airplane because my balance is way, way off. And so I was 3 rungs up on a ladder trying to trim the trees. And my wife was holding the ladder. She goes, "Are you shaking?" I said, "Yes." She goes, "Why?" I said, "I'm a little bit nervous." She goes, "You've jumped out of airplanes." I said, "Yeah, with 2 darn good feet. What do you need feet to jump out of an airplane?" I said, "To land." But I mean, my balance, and he goes, "Well, I don't recommend it." I said, "Well, I recommend I do." I said, and Hack with Widow Lake has taken up jumping out of airplanes.
Yeah.
And he wants me to go with him. So I need to get the weight down, but I'm an emotional eater. Yeah. I thought I was a stress eater, but I'm not. I mean, I went off the deep end again with the passing of Taylor. I just, and no, I'm not blaming Taylor. I blame me. I'm a grown man.
Yeah,
I make my own decisions, but it's the way I was dealing with losing him. And so right now my sugar is all, but I experiment with food and I make sugar free. It's funny. I had a brick and mortar across from Bob Jones called JJ's Doghouse. And I make a peanut butter pie sugar free. And I was walking around the dining room and I asked a customer, I says, "You don't like that?" She goes, "It's too sweet." I said, "Ma'am, there's no sugar in that." "Yes, there is." I said, "Ma'am, no, there's not. I made that 5 o'clock this morning." I said, "Everything in this restaurant is made fresh every morning. I'm here at 5 o'clock. I open at 11. Everything is fresh." She goes, "Well, the peanut butter has sugar in it." I said, "No, ma'am, I make my own peanut butter." I said, "There's not the first drop of sugar in it."
Wow.
And people don't believe when I give them my peanut butter pie or cheesecakes or cobblers or anything. It's all sugar free. I'll make you a Shoney strawberry pie sugar free. The only sugar is the fruit.
Yeah.
And depending on if you're watching your glucose or not, it's like me. I can eat watermelon, I can eat any berry, I cannot eat bananas or apples. And I love them both, but I can't eat them because it spikes my glucose. It's just a matter of, you said, the meter. And I'm not going to say his name, but another drummer is a type 2 diabetic, and he just now got on the meter and he's been watching. So now he sees
But
about learning what you can eat when you can eat it.
this the I pay for this glucose monitor. The only way you can get this, I'm through the VA, but the only way you can get one, not the only way, the only way you can get insurance to pay for one or get somebody else to pay for one is if you're on insulin.
Insulin.
This is the best tool in the world. I
Yes.
get a check every 5 minutes. And like on the way over here, stressed out a little bit in the rain, I can literally just, I'm not supposed to do it when I'm driving, hop over my phone and look and see if anything's going crazy. And it, with my stress issues, I would eat the same meal 5 times a day, completely different responses. And we're talking 150 to 200 points responses.
Wow.
I go to the VA and they're like, it's stress. It's just, and I'm like, okay, this is what I need to do. Instead of eating, look at my blood sugar before I eat. If I'm having a stressful moment, then I have a base meal, which is chicken salad, oranges and olives, one mandarin orange and a couple of olives. Wash them off, wash the brine off. Wheat toast with butter and a thing of yogurt. That's a base meal for me. 20 points, won't go over it. So if I eat that, I'm a 20-point little jump, and that's it. And it's done in an hour or so. I'm back to whatever my baseline is. So if my baseline's a 200, I'm just going up a little. But if I eat a big meal or anything or anything else when I'm having a stressful moment or anything, that's what I've learned, and I have to eat the same thing. And I've gotten used to it. Chicken salad chick, man. Every week I'm in there buying those big tubs, and that's what I eat, the jalapeno holly. That's my main protein source. It's got and this is another thing. Instead of counting your calories, make your calories count. Like you said, watermelon.
Yeah.
Well, watermelon ain't got really anything in it, but when I had a lot of dental surgery, and I was eating nothing but pasta like stuff, and my iron got low, and I was craving like crazy grits and watermelon, like buttered, nasty, peppery grits, like I used to get in the chow hall every morning. And I call it a warrior's breakfast: big fat omelet, grits, watermelon, and a little bready something, whatever, little muffin, whatever they had. That you give the chow hall and get that in the morning before you go out on a mission. And I didn't know this, but there's something in watermelon that helps bind iron. So the reason I was craving it, my iron, because I was freezing.
Your iron was low, yeah.
Last year when I got off the music scene, when everything, I was freezing to death in the spring and summer, like literally just shivering. And it was because of low iron. It was different things that were with PTSD, my blood sugar going crazy, not having a good diet because of the dental, all those kind of come into one, and my body basically tried to eat itself. So, which is, I look the best I've ever done in a very long time. I've got, like veins everywhere. I work out a little bit. I, gain muscle real quick now. And I'm like, this is kind of good, but I got to the point of it was going to be a stroke, heart attack, something was coming.
Right.
It was, and when I stopped and got out of that world and finally figured out everything, got my diet straight, I got a little exercise program going now, and my hands still shake when my blood sugar rises, so I can't film. I've already accepted that. That's done. I might be able to do a little bit, but not like what I was doing before. But that's what diabetes does. It'll tell you, hey, I'm here. You got me. And you'll be, I don't feel anything. Keep eating the way you do. You lost a foot and how many toes?
I lost a toe on this and half of this foot.
I've got neuropathy issues to where if my blood sugar goes right over 150, it's where it starts. I'll start to shake. When I get to 200, my fingertips I can't edit anything. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
It's like I can't feel my fingertips. And it's a neuropathy thing. And you got we're not going to mention names because I'm not going to get into HIPAA stuff. One guitarist, his leg had turned black. And I think if he hadn't lost it, he's lost function of it.
Yeah.
Another drummer has a big hole, and I remember him putting pictures. And I don't know if this was the universe, God, whatever you believe in, telling me at one time, going, you need to stop what you're doing right now, because I remember you had a problem, right? Like you'd said something about it, about like a soreness or something, and I remember you're missing your foot. Other guy, he just had to leave his band and start playing bass. He's back to drumming now, and then there's this guy with the black leg, and then there's other people I knew that are military. Like, hey, I'm getting my foot cut off today, and like I'm not going to be the guy that did 3 deployments with IEDs and all sorts of stuff and walk around with and I'm not trying to say anything, without an appendage, and have to tell people, and I'll never wear this hat again if I lose a limb, because everybody go, ooh, he lost it. No, because I wouldn't eat right. I wouldn't exercise. I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't do what I was supposed to. That's
Right.
just why. And I'm not saying that's what happened to you, but that's what happens. And that's what it really is. You get told, hey, you're pre-diabetic. You're type 2. Cool. Doesn't bother me. And you probably lived through the same thing. Yeah, okay. Keep eating the same way. And
I actually got hurt at work. Butch Davenport. I had a construction company, and
is that your keyboard player?
Yeah.
Okay.
I sold the construction company, and my wife had called me up and said that Chris, he works with my wife at BFS, and a great guy. He was 82nd Airborne. He and I talk a lot, and his dad was looking for help over at Beckhart in Simpsonville. Well, I didn't even know what a carting solution company was. I went over there and filled out the application, and he was looking for a warehouse manager. And so he interviewed me, and we got to talking, and he goes, can you pass a drug test? I said, yes, sir. He goes, cool. He said, I'm going to send you for a drug test. I said, okay. So I went and took the drug test, and then he hired me, and I had gotten hurt. And what I did is the carting, the machines that pull the cotton or whatever to make whatever they're making, they have different kinds of wires on them depending on what they do.
Yeah.
Well, I had a warehouse full of all the different wires, and the spools weighed about 150 pounds.
Oh yeah, cotton mills, man.
And so I had one. I was putting one back, and I lifted the pallet up, put it in the hole, and the one spool was teetering, so I put my hands in there to move it, and it fell over on my hand. And Butch was there. He said, you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm fine. He said, well, you need to go to the doctor. I said, no, I'm good. He goes, no, you need to go to the doctor. I said, Butch, I'm fine. No. That's when I found out that I was a diabetic, when I went for a workers' comp accident, and I did exactly what you said when they told me. He said, are you a diabetic? I said, no. He said, yeah, you are. I said, no, I'm not. My mother is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. Yeah, you are. I said, yeah, okay, whatever. And it was literally weeks later that I was in the hospital getting half my foot cut off.
I'll tell you, this is going. We got to start. It's 38 minutes so far, but one of the worst things in the world. When I came home from Afghanistan, we talked about this right before. Just let everybody know if you're type 2 diabetic. I'm going to ask you before an interview if we can talk about it because a lot of people in the upstate music community has it. But when I found out mine, I was already starting to, and how do I say this on social media? I was already starting to get flavors of gun barrel. I'd come back. I'm like, I'm not going to be on this planet very much longer. I was already getting into it. I was like, I'm taking myself out. When they told me I'm diabetic, part of me went good. And because the day I found out I was diabetic, because I remember I was sitting at my desk as an honor guard, Greer Armory. I'd come back, honor guard. We did military funerals locally. It was an active duty slot, but we still had a parent unit, and my parent unit deployed just like a regular job. I come back and I went back to the honor guard. I went from active duty to active duty. It's weird. It's just the way the orders were. I also resigned. But because I needed to get help, and I went to my sergeant. I was like, Sergeant, so I can't. I'm having, and he's like, you want me to take you off orders? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm gonna handle this for the VA, because if I would have went with when I was on the honor guard, it would have been not a big thing, but they would have had to pay me through the whole time.
Right.
And that program was, they went around the Pentagon, or NGB, not the Pentagon, and like robbed everybody's budget to make a budget so I didn't want to, like, and I was taking, anyway, long story short, I wanted to take myself out, and they put me on my medication, and one of them was glipizide, because I can't take metformin. It makes me sick. Well, because the way my diabetes is with my with PTSD issues, at 4 or 5 o'clock every day, I check my blood sugar, 38, 40, way low.
Wow.
And I check it at night. It might be a 200. It might be a 300 in the morning. But in the afternoon,
You bottomed out.
I literally, I remembered I forgot how to check my blood sugar one time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why am I this confused? And I didn't know. Anyway, one of my plans was to take a bunch of glipizide and lower my blood sugar. And when I started getting lower like that, and I found out how bad that was, and how bad high blood sugar is I've experienced both extremes, and I wanted to do that thing. That is not the way to do that.
No.
That is the most. Like I said, when I experienced what I did with the way I felt, I never want to feel it. And every time I'll check my blood sugar, and if it's a little high and I want to eat something bad, I'll remember, I can't feel my fingers, all the stuff you go, and probably your foot's a good reminder, and it's really hard. It's food, man. It's like, if you offer me something right now, no, I'm going to go home and eat my meal, my base meal that I have, because I drove today. Like when you had the Ross or the Taylor Fest, I didn't eat a bite here. Don't care if it's good or not. I know what I eat. I know what works. That's how dedicated I am to the food part. The exercise part, no.
There wasn't, and that's the funny thing, and I don't tell people this, because if you tell them that something is good for them or sugar free, they won't try it. But you could have eaten anything that was in there, because it was all carb free and sugar free.
So that's what I was thinking. We used to pat. I'm like, I remember looking. I was like, I don't know, 40. Nah, because I was thinking, if it is, my base is right around 100 now.
Yeah.
Not 90. But when I come out here, it's 100. That's what I'm saying. Stress. This was not stressful. I was around a bunch of people I know. Driving here was a little. This is what it gets stuck in the middle position.
Right.
That flight or flight, and a lot of people know what I smell like when I go to a place, a little skunky. I pack the end of a cigar right before I go in anywhere. Take a little edge off, just like a lot of people do with whiskey or whatever. And this probably not going to get monetized anyway, but you take the edge. I did it here, and I do it everywhere I go. And it's not while I'm driving or what. I'm one of the people that's kind of straight with stuff.
Right.
I don't drink and drive. I don't really drive much if I've ever herbalized or whatever you want to call it. But that stuff helps too. The only problem is if it gives you the munchies,
Yeah.
and you've got ice cream in the house.
Well,
3 a.m. and you got the munchies.
Breyer's Carb Smart ice cream is your friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never even thought about looking at
Carb
ice cream.
Smart. Yeah.
Oh,
And
Lord.
you got Rebel, which comes in little pints. I don't recommend sitting down and eating the whole pint like I do, but
That's what I would do.
yeah, I love ice cream. I mean, but and pork skins. I mean,
Those,
they're the most disgusting thing in the world, but no carbs, no sugar.
and they have a
So-
little bit of protein.
Right. And if you need that salty, crunchy, because I love potato chips. My problem is I can't get a handful of potato chips and put the bag away. I eat the whole stinking bag.
I wonder if there's a way. I like grits. I like grits.
I do too. Love them.
Protein powder and grits. You ever tried it?
No.
I get the medical grade protein powder, and I want to do a whole episode on type 2, like what we've talked. I want to do another episode with you about music, because we talked about other stuff. But I'll take like the instant grits. I am Southern and I use instant grits. But
No, he's not.
what was that movie? My cousin
Vinny. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no
self-respecting Southerner uses instant grits.
But you take like one pack and you take like a whole scoop of protein powder, and I sit there and I'll mix that up, and then I'll add salt, because the protein powder will clump when you put. Then I add the second pack, and I'll like almost knead it into the grit, like get it to where it's all separated. There's a little bit of a gritty flavor, which is grits, a little bit of a gritty kind of more flavor, but it doesn't really change it much. And I get like 2 of those packs. I get 1 scoop is 20 grams of protein. So I get that in grits, and I can eat grits now, and with no problem. Two packs of grits. I'm supposed to be 220, 230, somewhere up there with blood sugar, but it's 140, 150. It'll kind of scoop down.
Right.
And it's not great. It's a little bit more expensive, but it is what it is.
Right.
And it's we got to start getting close here. But tell me more about. There's 2 things. You got Whittle Lake. I filmed part of this. Was at the Harley show, the Chrome Drive show. Is it Quaker? Is it Quaker?
Quaker State. Yeah.
I always I always want to call it something else, and I can't remember what it is. But that's like they put that on Facebook, like it's like almost like a vote, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I always call that the Super Bowl or the Daytona 500 or the Upstate Music, and y'all got to play on that. Tell me about how that experience was. And
it's a totally different experience being on that size of a stage. You have a sound company that actually comes in and runs sound.
They're awesome. Y'all sounded great.
And then, of course, I add the effects. I sign a waiver with them. I show them, I have an insurance policy.
That's another thing I want to talk to you about eventually.
Yeah.
Another show.
But I put the effects on stage, and we try our best to make it a show, not just
gig.
4 people
Not
up
a
there,
gig.
right? And Angela's wireless, Hack and Eric are wireless, and they'll run around, and Hack is just he is just all over the place. He's a little bit more limited now because he's playing keyboards also. But if there's no keyboards in the song, there's no telling. He might be here, then he's going to be there. He might end up behind me. I mean, he's just a ball of energy, and hopefully we're going to get through this because it came over real quick.
If we have to, we can. That's covered, so I can just pull those in there and we can restart. We've been here 47 minutes, but I wanted to talk about that, and I want to talk a little bit about Brando Jones' film, and those guys.
They are phenomenal. It is literally, if you need an EPK, you need Brando Jones to do your video. They're very well worth the money. You may think it's expensive, but what you're going to get out of it will definitely pay for
Here's
itself.
a question I have for you, and this is, I should have messaged them and asked them this question, because this might sound bad, and I'm not trying. I love those guys. I've never met them, but I love those guys. I love their work. So this is not anything negative or anything like that. But you got the Street in September's got a couple of songs. They're covers,
right?
But you guys get your live covers. Now the audio always sounds great with those guys. I know there's another band, the Bennett Brothers. They recorded themselves doing a T for Texas song, the Skinner version, and they put it on Spotify. Can y'all take the audio cut from that and put it on Spotify, iTunes. I mean, you're not going to make any money off it because you're not the copyright holder,
Right.
but you'll still have, promotional material, stuff like that, stuff you can
Right.
have. And I want to say one of the Bennett brothers told me it's like $20 a year for the licensing fee. So did they talk to y'all about that, or has that even come up, or have they even thought about that?
No, we haven't thought about it. Our thing, and this was L Train that did it. There's a lot of new clubs out, and a lot of new clubs will not book you without hearing something. Well, we had nothing. I film every show, Widow
Yeah.
Lake and L Train, and I film it as a learning tool for us. Okay, well, we really screwed up this part of the song, yada yada. And I always tell the bands, don't wear your feelings on a sleeve. It's not. That's not what it's about. It's let's correct this and let's do this
AAR,
right.
after action review. It's
Right. That's all it is. And I told Christina, I said, the audio on this is not very good. If we could get some good audio, yeah, we could take some of the film without the sound and use that. But the audio is terrible.
Well, the thing of it, when you record, when I've done this, I've tried to record y'all. I've got a couple of good songs with y'all. And the thing is one little thing can screw everything up. And if like me recording it, and I know y'all have somebody doing sound, there's too many steps to me. It needs to be straight to me, and I don't know how to do that. I know how to do it off of a signal. I don't know how to like build from the board. I kind of do, but like when I started doing the podcast, I'm like, holy crap, I don't know how to build a signal. Like I've always been on the tail end of the signal. I've never been on the beginning of it. And I'm like, when I got to thinking about it, like I can hook I know what it is, but I've never built a signal chain with sound. And I'm like, holy crap. And that's when I went to the button mics. I'm like, okay, this works. I won't have to mess with that. But recording a band is it's crazy. And sometimes you'll get it, sometimes you won't. And if like Streeting September, the gig before they got Glenn, crystal clear sound. I had everything, I had them dialed in perfect. Oh, this is how I do it. And I remember taking a picture of the board, and this is how I did this. They bring in Glenn, throws everything off. Man. And it was just the volume situation. It was nothing against him. It's his tone, and his tone is awesome. So you can't say, hey man, I need you. You don't tell somebody like that to turn it down, because when I walk out front and I go hear what I got, the same thing with y'all. It's two different. It's not two different signals, but it's two different.
Right.
The ways you hear. It's hard to explain. It's not exactly the same. And I can't go out to you and say, I need you to make a change, and it's going to make a change coming out of PA. So there's a lot of getting a monitor feed if you can. If y'all have an extra monitor feed.
Yeah.
And I can get a piggyback off this person's. Well, if they jack something up, there's crazy ways to record you. But I know those guys do like a board recording, and they probably have room mics and everything. Just kind of similar to I did. It's just they know what they're doing. I don't, and I tried. And like I said, a lot of times I get it. Sometimes I wouldn't. But recording a band is crazy. And you did Widow Lake do the Brando Jones yet?
Acoustically.
Okay.
We have an appointment in August. We're going to go in August. We used to, we had Cliff Weatherspoon, who was the bass player for Jackal years ago. He was our agent, and he did a
Red Arrow Studio.
Yeah, Red Arrow. Yep, Entertainment, and he did a video of us, and he did all the mixing and stuff, and that's what was on our EPK kit. But we're going to use Brandon Jones in August.
And one thing you can now, do they give you? I know they give you the full videos. They give you a clip.
What he sent me with L Train is he sent me their mastered 2 clips, but they also gave me where I could put it on a multi-track and mix it ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, so they gave us both.
The best audio I have is from the Bennett brothers, and they multi-track recorded, went back, and then sent me the audio. That is the best audio I have ever had. The second best audio was probably Streeting September, and it was just When I go up there and get that 3-band coming off y'all signal, it's luck of the draw most of the time. And like I think I know Whipping Post. There's a Heaven's on Fire might be. There's another couple songs I have with y'all that sound great that I listen to sometimes. Y'all playing, and sound is so hard to get. Like with you guys, there's bands that are just absolutely awesome. I could never get right. And then like Ned Lucas,
Oh yeah.
I can't plug into him. He's got the Leslies, he's got everything, a Hammond organ. I use just the mics, the room mics. It sounds great. And there's another band, Point of View. I did that with y'all on my room mics. I couldn't get it right. I could get it right with them. And I'm not going to say, I'm trying to figure out a way right now to say who y'all are better than that I recorded that sounded better than you. Does that make sense? But
Yeah.
they're not really, but it's audio. It's all
Oh yeah.
with videos that if you look in the past on this channel is that. But and you got Whittle Lake coming up in August. And so you'll have a clip video to make. Now, can you make what I would do with that if I was your manager is like I got a hype text program, put the text over it, but put that out on social media as a booking video, like for private parties or just on your social media instead of like when you send that video to a venue, just go or do that too. But this would be putting it on your social media as I've done them before, contact so-and-so for private parties. I'll probably put that on here. If I'll look up y'all's booking information and put it up, but just do something like that on that little clip and it'd give you something for private parties and you'd have for that too. But a lot of people don't know the EPK, you're supposed to have a stage plot, a video, headshots, I think, a band photo.
Yeah. And we do a song list. We do a song list too.
And a lot of people, they think it's just a video. And I'm like, there's more to it.
A lot more. We have a bio. They have Cliff had added that the way he worded it, that our shows come to live on stage with fire and da da da. And he says, yes, we have a licensed pyrotechnician on hand. And a lot of people ask, and a lot of people use the word pyro. Oh, the first thing they think of is two things. They think of Great White first. They're going to burn the club down. Or they think of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Oh, yeah.
I wished I had their kind of stuff, but I don't.
Normally you got the cold spark machine, and I've got footage, and I'm going to play it right now, and this will be a great clip. I actually took my phone and went through them. I got a little damage on one phone because I kicked it up, and they come out hot, but they're not hot.
No,
they end up in the air at 72 degrees, and I think I've told, what's her name, Karen? I think I've told her before, I'm gonna put my glasses on and close my eyes, and I did this at Powdersville Pub, and I'm gonna stick my face in that thing, and I did that because nobody was dancing. Nobody's going to dance. Then all of a sudden they're on the dance floor. Oh, that thing's not going to hurt me. And I did that with a cold spark. You can take your face.
Yeah, I do it. When people get scared, I said, look, it's cold spark.
But don't do that.
Yeah, don't do it with your eyes open. Yeah.
But if you were if that thing was to fall, if anything were to happen, is most likely not going to do anything.
Right.
It is a spark. But when it eventually, I think it's 70, because I looked at this thing at 72 degrees. Now the flame pots. Yeah. When you talk about using those at Powdersville Pub, because I remember Keisha said something to me, and I'm like, And I'm like, no. But what I was thinking was you were going to put them in the same spot. Because you put your cold sparks out front.
Right.
You put your flame pots up back.
I put them back by me.
What do they call the flame?
It's a flame box. Yeah. Is all it is.
And it's just a split second. Matter of fact, I've got a slow-mo shot.
You got a slow-mo shot from Harley.
Yeah.
That it is totally, almost, it's wicked.
It's if you blink on the regular speed, you'll miss it.
Yeah.
It's like, what was there a light flash? It's that quick of a burst, but it looks so cool. And the thing of it is, though, if you've done it at Powdersville Pub, you had them at Wild Country, you have them set up on the stage where nobody could get to them. And at that Harley show, I was going to get more of going through the Cold Sparks. And I remember pointing to Karen, I remember pointing to Angela. I don't know if they see me or not. The kids that were coming up, little bitty kids.
Yeah.
Because I put my phone through one of them. I remember when them kids was watching me. Like, I cannot do that again. Because I know exactly what those kids would do. They see me go up there and walk around.
They're going to do it.
They're
Yeah.
Gonna, so I backed off a little bit and kind of did, instead of cutting the pie, which if you know anything about coming in and going out and just getting the cutaway for this podcast, I was getting the cutaway footage for this one. But instead of doing that, I just kind of did an arc around. And I just remember watching those kids. They were hilarious, man. One of them kept running up playing in a fire ant bed, and Dad had to come up and kept pulling them off. And that was a great show, and I was trying to motion Angela toward them, like say something to them.
Yeah.
Because they were out there having a ball, and she's looking out. You can't see what's in front of you when you're on stage.
But Widow Lake always ends with mother.
Yeah.
And one year out at Harley, I had it where we had the 4 Cold Sparks were up front. I had 2 troughs in the shape of a V, which was a 2-foot wide, 4-foot tall wall of fire in a shape of a V that Angela stands in between at the end.
Oh, man.
And then I had 10 of those fire boxes around the stage, and I had 2 line rockets going from side to side of the front of the stage, and I had a concussion grenade and 2 aerial bursts. When Susan hit the button to go off, the power went out.
Oh!
It couldn't take all that. So my lesson I learned was I have to separate it on different legs, but that whole stage is on one leg. So it doesn't matter if I plug it in there and there, it's all still the same thing.
Well, the thing I learned, if you build a universe, which is what they call it, I think that's what they call it, in a light situation, you have like a 32 fixture, there's a limit.
Right.
And don't go over and we're going to go straight to the fantasy band question because we're at an hour and we're getting rained on, and these will last a little bit in the rain, but not much. But I got to ask you a question and I'll get out of here. Let me set this up real quick. I ask everybody, and this is nothing but promotional. You don't have to have a single person. You can name 5 people. Build a fantasy band that you would like to go see of upstate musicians, not famous ones. Tez Sherrod's, he's probably the limit, I guess, and he's famous. I get a lot of people don't know who he is. Edwin McCain's drummer, but he's like the limit. If that makes sense,
right?
But start off, if you can. You don't have to name a drummer if you don't want to. I would like you to, but either people you'd want to play with or people you'd want to go see, and start.
It's kind of hard for me because the word best is selective depending on genre.
That's what I said you would want to go see.
Okay.
But I'm trying to figure that question out, how to make it kind of sound. It's not in that.
Guitar for me would be Shy and Matt Nations. Bass guitar would be Greg Bishop or Hack. Drummer, I can't name one. I'll give you 3. Skip Strong, Peter Moore, or Lance Sweat. And it would be hard out of those 3 for me to pick one. Female singer, of course, would be Angela. Male singer would have to be Brian Stewart.
I forget about him. I love Shot.
And he's a drummer too.
We're getting rained on.
Yep.
And thank you for watching the Upstate Music Channel. It's been Joe with Widow Lake and L Train. Check them out on Facebook. You're on Instagram.
Yes.
Anything else on social media?
Not that I know of.
I'll look it up and we'll get it. I'm gonna save these $500 phones right now.
Yep.
Thank you
give
for
it
watching.
up for Matt for everything he does for this music community in the Upstate. We're so fortunate to have him.
Everybody's afraid, so they stay on the run. I say why run when I've got a gun. I found myself in this town, lost myself on a new ground. Can you say you're just running for the sun? I feel it too, yeah, you're not the only one. Oh, when the shadows up beneath your feet makes you
here in upstate of South Carolina in Greenville, we have the top-notch musicians, man. It's awesome to see the variety that we have around here and the way things kick.
Last night, I'm tired.
But keep it rocking, Greenville. We'll see you.